We're recording.
We are recording.
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're fools. Yo, and we've not drank any wine.
None.
We're just sitting here being fools.
Yeah, 100% sober.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Two Black Girls, One Rose.
Where two black-ass girls invade the whitest show on earth,
The Bachelor.
I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And we're back, guys. It's been 2 weeks.
Oh my god, it feels like 3 months.
It felt like a long time. And we hadn't seen each other in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's really what made it
That
crazy.
was wild. Because we were practically living with each other for the last, all of Arie's season.
2018.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
And then we went 2 weeks without even seeing each other.
I know.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
How was your 2-week hiatus?
You know, it wasn't a hiatus. We don't have to talk about it, and it's fine. A lot happened, you know? A lot's happening. I'm moving a lot. I'm moving around.
Okay.
Going crazy. Hopping around a little crazy.
But it is so vague. What? You were moving around?
Okay, guys. Okay.
Get into it.
So, I got this new job, right?
Yay!
Yay.
So exciting.
And with the new job comes things like insurance and a paycheck. So that means that your team comes back, right?
Your what?
Your team. Your hairdresser, your waxer, your nutritionist,
you start taking care of yourself again.
Everybody comes back in business. Your therapist, your psychiatrist, whoever you have.
That's true.
Comes back in business. Everybody has a job and all of that.
Because they were on hiatus too while you were unemployed. They were on hiatus.
I was on hiatus trying to line my chakras by myself.
Shit.
So just trying to get back into that swing of things and that sort of life.
Yeah.
And just trying to have everybody back on the team. Assign everybody to their spots.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Get your life back in order.
Yep. Meanwhile, Natasha's over here glowing.
I am burnt.
Beaming.
I actually like my tan this time.
It's so cute.
So I went to Mexico, you guys. I was in Playa del Carmen for a week. Shout out to Christina, my friend who I went with.
Yay!
And it was great. It was very relaxing. And yeah, I was saying my tan, I have a nice glow. So usually when I get tan, I just get a matte black. No glow. I'm so jealous of my sister because when she goes on vacation, she gets this nice golden undertone to her skin.
Yeah.
And I just get charcoal.
Yeah.
Which, no shade to anybody with dark skin, it just don't look right on me.
Right. You weren't born like that.
I have just a regular kind of, I'm gonna say regular, cut that out.
No. You have red undertones.
A red undertone brown skin, but when I get tan, it just comes matted. There's no glow. But I have a nice little glow.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very happy with this tan.
It looks good.
Thank you. So, yeah, I was doing that and came back and had some stuff to do.
Yeah. Right.
And, now we're back and ready in action.
We're back at it.
Two Black Girls, One Rose. We do have some church announcements.
Yay!
About your programs.
We love these. So, obviously, we have some emails to go through. Even though we were on hiatus, which I really appreciate, guys. That's so great. That's you guys are still emailing us and still listening and stuff.
Some people are discovering us. Now. They're oh, I just discovered your podcast and I'm going back and listening. I'm oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we have emails from Anissa, who was so cute, and she said she binge listened, so that's really cute. Then we have Lisa, who touched on some of the Diggy interview, which I appreciate because I believe in that episode I assigned y'all homework.
What did you say?
Of reviewing the episode and sending us feedback. So Lisa, good job on your homework, girl. You get an A. Mariah also emailed us. Zakia from Portland, Oregon. Girl, shout out to you again. I know I said this in the email as well, but just have the strength. Wakanda Forever in Portland. It comes out in DVD. I know you'll be watching it every day. Just stay strong in Portland, girl.
All right. Zakia in Portland.
Zakia.
That
Boy. And then Barbara, also, shout out to you. And then Lauren emailed us with some tea about our girl Cian.
Oh.
And how she has a new man.
Yeah, got a new boo.
She a new boo.
Yep.
She got herself some white chocolate.
But he was on Instagram stories like a few weeks ago, I think. I was like, oh, okay. I see you, girl, out there in these streets.
So that's it for the emails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we go into our, you know what time it is?
Oh, you want to know what time it is?
I missed this. Time for the update. You guys, we don't know how long we're going to do this.
Yeah. Because this is getting
real hard.
This is getting rough.
I actually have some Peter tea, so I'll let you go first.
Must be nice. Must be nice. Because this Negro is still selling Miracle Season t-shirts.
Oh, Jesus.
It is still Miracle Season, guys. It's been a year.
If you haven't gotten your t-shirt yet,
please go buy one.
We beg of you.
Still training. And
what's the podcast doing?
The podcast is going.
Okay.
Do you listen to it? It's I mean, but I just want to hear him talk. His last guest was Sheena from Vanderpump Rules.
Oh my god, that must have been an awesome episode because Sheena is a fucking wreck. What? Shout out to Vanderpump Rules and everybody who watches it. If you know me, literally you know everyone. I love the show.
Rihanna.
Aside for you.
I know.
You need to, and everyone, Justine and I are having a weekend this weekend. And we are just going to watch Vanderpump Rules.
We're gonna marinate. We're gonna marinate.
And I'm catching her up on Vanderpump Rules.
And you know what? Maybe we'll do Potomac too. Maybe we'll do Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes, I need to get it.
Because that's my favorite city, guys.
Favorite city of all the housewives?
It's a tough competition between them and Beverly Hills.
Yeah, you do love some Beverly Hills.
I love me some Beverly Hills.
I'm in Atlanta and New York. Those are my two.
Yeah.
Yup. Those are my two.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, this is the Eric update. Adam and Raven were on the podcast. Is that her name, Raven? Yeah. Adam and Raven were on the podcast recently. Raven looks like I, Tanya, in this bodysuit that she's wearing. I don't know what she thought she was going to, but she's in
like the World Championship figure skating competition.
Yep. And I think it has the nerve to have thumb holes, if I'm looking correctly. But guys, just go and look it up.
It's a long sleeve with thumb holes.
I think it's a sportswear top. Just go and look at it, guys, on Eric's Instagram if you want a little laugh. But yeah, he's just out here, looking fine.
That's it.
And being himself.
Damn, Eric.
Yeah.
You got a real update in a minute.
I know.
Peter, y'all. I got some Peter tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anonymous.
Oh, yeah, Anonymous.
Sent us a Twitter DM to us with some tea on Mr. Peter. And so in her message, she sent us a video. It's like a grainy footage of a Colorado Rockies baseball game. And in the seats behind the dugout appear to be Peter sitting next to a mystery woman. Mm. So it was confirmed that it was Peter because if you quickly went over to his Instagram video, he was at the game.
All right, we're adding up.
It's starting to add up. And then somehow, I don't know how the hell y'all did this, somehow y'all found out who the girl was that he was sitting next to, which is wild. Went over to her Instagram. She was also at the game. Mm-hmm. So it's all adding up. So they found her on Instagram. Her name is Keely Montera. Don't know who she is. Don't know what she does. She has a great body. Mm-hmm. She lives in Colorado, it appears. Which means that Peter flew out to Colorado for that game and to see her.
He could have also been in a boot camp. He does those boot camps.
That's true. I didn't line that up if he was there for a boot camp. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, he was in her city and they were out at a baseball game together. Mm-hmm. And Miss Keely Montera, the Peter Hawks are coming after you.
Yeah, they're coming. Girl.
Yep, because that's crazy that they even found who that girl was.
Right.
You could barely see Peter in the goddamn video. Somehow they pieced out who the hell that bitch was, but we'll be watching because you know it's coming. He's gonna one day.
You can't stay single for that this long.
I feel like one day it's gonna happen. We're gonna go open up his Instagram story and there she is.
And literally, if it isn't like Rihanna, I'm just gonna be so upset.
I know it's never gonna be. I'm not gonna be pleased.
Or like Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita find somebody else besides Peter. That would be a adorable, but she's like a queen goddess.
I know.
Peter is great and all, but nah. So yeah, keep watching Peter and see who he's dating. In other Bachelor Nation news, so everyone from Winter Games has broken up.
Yeah.
Except for Courtney and Lily.
Our faves.
Who were our faves.
Yeah.
And who were the true winners of Winter Games.
Yep.
They're still out here in their Winnebago traveling around. They literally are living in a Winnebago. Are you laughing? Traveling around the U.S.
Because you know how I feel about choosing poverty.
And I love this. Like, literally, Lily and Courtney's life and their relationship is my goals.
It's treacherous. It's treacherous.
I love that shit. Road tripping and living in a van and just you and your partner and out here in the streets.
Oh my god. And no washing machine or stove.
No, it's fine. You don't need that much, Justine. You really don't. When you live with bare essentials, I don't think you need that
Girl,
much.
you want to talk about bare essentials? We're going to talk about this off mic. You want to talk about bare essentials?
No, I'm saying, like, so I did the whole, I lived in a van for 6 weeks. I traveled the east coast of Australia during my year abroad. You guys know I lived there. I said, you guys. I'm sounding like one of those people.
Like Ashley?
No, I'm sounding like Ashley. You guys. But anyways, I've talked about living in Australia for years.
Yeah.
So six of those weeks I did live in a van, traveled. I packed the biggest suitcase. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't use half that shit.
Really?
I didn't. I wore like the same pair of shorts the whole damn 6 weeks. The few tops. We cooked what we needed out the back in our little stove. We used what we need. Like, we really only needed the little essentials. Like, I think you don't need too much. You say it's choosing poverty.
Yeah.
I think it's part of it. It's
choosing
a
poverty.
traveling experience, I think. That
you're choosing.
Yeah, that you're choosing. But nothing. Your travel doesn't have to always be luxurious. You can live in a Winnebago. Okay, see, we're on two different planes.
I worked too hard for my travel not to be luxurious.
Jeez, we're on two different planes. Let's table this discussion. I like it though.
Yeah.
I think they're adorable. I'm loving
Email
that
us,
shit.
tweet us, let us know whose team you're on.
Right. So Courtney and Lily's still out here going strong. Everybody else, including our beloved Claire and Benoit, who had a 7-week engagement, have now broken up.
Yeah.
I mean, are we that surprised?
No, not really.
I mean, Bachelor Winter Games was like 2 weeks that they filmed. And you're building most of these relationships were long distance.
Right.
So they already had barriers against them. And I feel like they were all in the honeymoon stage, like immediately, and in this bubble of like, oh my god, we're finding love, we're on The Bachelor.
Right.
That, I mean,
I was a little surprised at Claire because Claire is of a certain age, right? She seemed to be very sure about what she wanted, and it seemed like she really found it in this man.
Yeah.
She also had a man who lived in Canada.
Not that far.
Not that far. You get to get away from this presidency.
That's true. She could.
Girl, you get to get out.
Girl, I would have made that shit work. We're having problems. Let's go to therapy.
Yeah, because I'm sticking around.
Hell yeah.
You can get rid of me.
God.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, ugh, at that one, a little miffed.
I think also with Claire, because sometimes when you want it so bad, you like turn a blind eye to all the red flags and like really try to make it work. And she could, I mean, I don't know Claire at all, but she could be in her head with like the age, and I'm getting, was she 36? She's like, I need to find someone, like everyone around me is married, things like that. Yeah. So maybe that's what kind of happened there.
It definitely could have been.
But damn, they didn't even like separate, try to be like, they officially ended the engagement.
Yeah.
7 weeks they were like, nope, this is not gonna work.
This is not gonna work.
God.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's real sad to see. But yeah, not really shocked about any of the other.
Yeah, no, Kevin and Ashley, please.
Yeah, and Dean and Leslie. Always. Anyways, so in other Bachelor news, or this is kind of old news actually, someone sent us a interview that Rachel did maybe about a month ago for the Houston Chronicle. And they asked her about her about the selection of black men who were casted on her show. And she is very candid of how frustrated she was with the guys that were selected. So she said, quote, I was like, y'all did a terrible job in casting black men as a whole, she recalls saying. You're trying to tell me that I need to keep them. That's your fault that I don't like these people. I knew you all were going to do this to me. I knew you would pick black guys I didn't really care for.
Oof.
Eeh. She went in.
Yeah, she did.
So someone sent us that article and was like, did you guys talk to Diggy about this?
Oh, right.
But we didn't because we didn't see the article before Diggy, so we didn't get a chance to address that. But on Twitter, people were going in.
Yeah, people were really going in.
You guys are really going in and commenting and sharing about your thoughts on Rachel and why she said that. And most people seem to be kind of against... her sentiments on the black men.
Right.
I personally couldn't really argue with Rachel. Couldn't disagree. So when I was reading people's comments, I was like, I kind of side with Rachel here.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I went back and listened to our very first episode of Two Black Girls, One Rose, where we do a little, like, a rapid fire dive into Rachel's season. And you and I specifically spoke also on our frustration with the casting of the black men on the show. Yeah. So I kind of, like, brought up the list again of who were the black men.
Okay.
So I would say of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, I have 9 here. I think it was 11, but I have 9 listed here. There were 3. Anthony, who was, like, the Fulbright, like, fucking Ivy League scholar.
Oh, yeah.
Who went on the date in Beverly Hills and they're on horses or whatever.
Yes.
He was legit.
Yep.
Diggy I liked. Fred I liked.
Fred.
That was it. DeMario, fuck that.
Bye.
Eric, I love Eric, but not for Rachel.
Yes, I agree.
I not for Rachel. Josiah, fuck that shit.
Nope. Out of here.
Yeah. Kenny, loved Kenny.
Love Kenny more now.
Love him more now.
Yeah.
Not for Rachel, though, I didn't think.
Yeah, I couldn't honestly see Rachel dating someone with a child.
With a child and, like, this wrestling career.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't get that.
Yeah, no.
Will.
See ya.
Bye-bye. And then I had to dig this one up. He went home the first night. Milton, he was the one that kept purring at her.
Damn, Milton was his name?
Yes.
Damn, Milton.
So, there's 3.
Yeah.
Of the...
Like, we each have 3.
So I can't even be that mad at Rachel what she said.
I would have much rather had a higher quality of men, even men who were Latino. Yeah. Like, it's just men who had a more diverse group. Like, it was a more diverse group of people. Rather than them just being like, oh, shit, it's black guys, we need black guys.
Yeah.
Get DeMario out of Chipotle.
Right.
Like, what?
Grab Josiah selling soups. Like, this hodgepodge these people together. And I can't be mad that Rachel was disappointed because she, as she said, she's dated mostly black men. And so that was her group that she was really, I guess, most attracted to. And she was disappointed. And I wasn't that excited either about them.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of funny because people were going in our comments.
They were.
About Rachel and how could she say this. And I was reading, I was like, I can't be mad at her.
Yeah.
So, no. I don't know. You guys email us. Tell us what you think. What were your thoughts on Rachel's cast of men and I guess her thoughts on how it went down. So anyways, moving into Diggy's interview, we always want to just recap and kind of like share our takeaways. I thought it was a really interesting interview.
Yes.
It was our first guy on the show. We got to dig into Rachel's season a little bit, which was cool because we didn't recap Rachel's season on the podcast. So anytime we get to talk about her season, I just love it. And just getting his perspective as a black man. Her season was marred with all kind of racial drama that they brought into the show. So it's a cool interview. If you didn't go listen to it, go do it now. Do you want to share your takeaways?
Sure. Yeah. So first takeaway is that I really wish Diggy was in the media more. I don't know in what form. I would like commentary of some sort. But he is just so hysterical and also has a very Like, he has an eye for everyone. The audience, the people in the actual TV show. Like, he's really has a 360 view of everything. Mm-hmm. And also is very funny in himself, which I can appreciate and is very rare.
Yes, true. It's true. That's a good way of putting it.
Right?
He spoke well on the producer aspect, his aspect of contestant, as a viewer back home.
Yep.
He gave a nice little 360 view.
But then will also speak his truth, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I thought he had a little bit too much trust in those producers of Bachelor. I find that too. This to be a common thread as well.
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of trust with these producers.
Let's talk about that.
And I don't know what those producers are saying to these people to make them feel like they're really friends.
I think, not that they're saying anything, I think they genuinely... So the producers live in the house, essentially, with them. They're with them all the time. As Lauren G said, if you're not going out on dates, you're in the house, and you're hanging out with the producers the whole time.
Right.
So when you need someone to talk to, you go to the... So you are building relationships with these people. I, myself, personally, could not get over the fact that these people are making a show about my life.
They had me on thumbtack on a cardboard, looking and circling my face. Like, what are we gonna do with her?
With her. So that image, I wouldn't be able to get out of my head and fully trust them. Yeah. But somehow these people do it, and they fully trust them, and they won't say a bad thing about them, and they, they don't seem to be very critical or, like, dubious of their intentions.
That's why I would love to interview someone like a Becca M. Because Becca M has watched reality TV her whole life. And so she maybe has a different perspective on, like, okay, I know that they were trying to do something, and maybe she would just have different opinions.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So, can I share my thought on
Absolutely.
this? So my one takeaway from Diggy.
Yeah.
So we dived into, the producer, casting director, whatever, choice to cast a blatant racist, Lee, in a house full of black men, which was done on purpose because they saw him out on Facebook, which is where he had all his crazy racist statuses. And so I just still, as much as I love this show, I can't get over that they did that. Yeah. On the first Black Bachelorette, they cast a blatant racist in a house full of black men. So my takeaway from Diggy, he was very forgiving. And of the producers, he, kept saying he thinks people are good by nature, so I can't imagine that they would do something like that, and, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I'm taking his answer with a grain of salt because this is somebody who's still in the world. I'm sure he maybe wants to go on Bachelor in Paradise next season. So, he ain't gonna trash nobody. But I just thought it was interesting how he was very critical of Lee, which I appreciated. Yeah. Because we dived into that, but not so critical of the producers. Yeah. And it just pisses me off, not just Diggy, but just in general, how they really got off scot-free with doing that shit. Like, they put a blatant race, like, some of his tweets and Facebook statuses were, like, the mark of white supremacy. Right, yeah. And they put him in a house with 9-10 other black men and just were waiting in the wings to see what the fuck would happen. What was gonna happen, yeah. Like, that is so gross. Like, that they were waiting for something to be ignited. Yeah, yeah. And that, I can't get over that shit, and I personally wouldn't be able to, like, trust these people again. No. And so I just find that very, very icky and really interesting, this Kool-Aid that's being passed around, and no one can, like, say a bad thing or be critical about the producers when it comes to that. I don't know. So that was my takeaway. It's an interesting tidbit there. Interesting. Okay. What about you?
Well, do we want to dive into his choices? Who he would pick on Bachelor Winter Games?
Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, so we asked Diggy if he was on Winter Games, which girls would he go after?
And immediately he said Bibiana, which we love her. This is the Bibiana episode, right? But also, to me, slightly problematic, his reasoning.
For choosing
Bibiana.
What did he say?
Because he said that she seems like she would, come back at him, and, they could talk shit together and all of this other stuff, right? Which I think is a fetish thing.
Ooh.
I think it's a fetish, a Latina fetish for sure.
It's the feisty.
Yeah, that like
caricature.
feisty, spicy jalapeno popper that I really wanted to like. Come on.
Yeah.
And I think it's old and tired, and I know I'm sick of it. And then I think he said one other. Oh, he said Claire. Which fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Ashley I. This was simply problematic.
Yeah, this was a problem.
Simply problematic.
And like in the moment as he said it, I like couldn't process. I was kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It was afterwards when we recapped and we were like, he really said Ashley I. Like what?
Yeah. And the fact that he did not mention Lauren G.
Yeah.
And if you guys aren't following Lauren G on Instagram, follow Lauren G on Instagram. She's everything. She just put up an Instagram story of her mother.
Oh,
yo.
I sent her a DM. You know? I was like, bitch, your mom. Black don't crack. She looks phenomenal.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And so is Lauren.
Yeah.
To me, Lauren is like stunning, like gorgeous.
Oh, one of the prettiest girls ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
And she's so smart. She seems pretty friendly. She's fun. And there was no mention of her.
Yeah.
I find that to be extremely problematic.
Yeah.
Extremely. That you would pick Ashley I, whose face doesn't move. Okay? I don't care if we got beef. I'll meet you outside, Ashley.
Oh my god. Catch me outside. That's what we're doing right now. That's a good point.
Right?
And I remember, as he said it, it was afterwards when we were debriefing. But I was like, fuck, he didn't say Lauren J. Like, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, I was so caught off guard by Ashley I that I didn't even think that he was choosing her over somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Like, you chose 3 girls. How many girls were there? Like 7.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
That got on my nerves.
That is problematic because I feel like Ashley I don't know her. But she seems like a very particular human.
And you said that in the interview too. She was like, you were like, this is a very specific personality.
Yeah, very specific person.
Yeah.
And I don't know that and then you choose her after Claire, who's like a completely different energy.
Totally different.
That doesn't even.
And then your celebrity crush is like Meghan Markle, who's gonna be the Duchess of Wales.
Yeah.
Like not Ashley I. Like what, bro?
Where did that come in?
It was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to attack his own, like his personal self, but it just seemed to me like it's a deeper conversation, but it seemed to me like he was just following kind of what he thinks he should.
The conventions, what he's seen on TV, what he thinks may elevate him.
Oh. See, it's a different conversation. This is no damn podcast. So it's another time. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Lord. Oh, wow. But yeah, the choices can say a lot about somebody. There can be.
And Lauren G, you'll like always be our choice. Come on.
Always be the choice, yeah. Which that gives insight into, she said she was in the house. She's the only black woman there.
Yep.
Which going into any environment where there's men there, you're immediately thinking, are any of them even into girls who look like me? And yeah, it's just like getting overlooked again. Jesus. Getting chose like Ashley I's getting chosen over. Ugh, God, please. Yeah. Anyways, if you haven't listened to the Diggy episode, there's a lot there. It was a fun episode. Shout out to Diggy.
Yes, thanks, Diggy.
We talked about a lot, I think, in that episode. So definitely go back and listen to that if you haven't already. And we're excited to get into our interview.
Yes.
With Miss Bibiana.
Yeah. Baby Jules.
Bibiana, Bibs, Bibby. I love her nicknames.
Yeah.
So cute. So yeah, let's jump into that. Okay, we're recording. Woo!
Welcome to a special edition of 2 Black Girls, 1 Latina, and 1 Rose.
Where 2 black-ass girls and a Latina invade the whitest show on earth, The Bachelor. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And I'm Bibiana.
Yay! We're so excited surprise, everybody. We have Bibiana on the line.
Yep, she is a 30-year-old executive assistant from Miami, Florida. And Bibiana is one of the few Latina contestants ever on The Bachelor, and became a very fast fan favorite.
Yes. As a reminder, Bibiana went home on week 3 of Arie's season. She is best known for putting Krystal's trifling ass in her place. And then she went on to be on Bachelor Winter Games. She had a very intense relationship with Jordan, the New Zealander, which came to a sad, dramatic ending, unfortunately. Firstly, Bibiana, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We're very excited to dissect your brain today. So I hope you're ready.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes. So are you from Miami originally?
I am Dominican.
You're Dominican.
Nice.
I am Dominican. I was born there, and then we moved to Miami when I was about 3 years old.
Oh,
Nice. Okay. Oh, plot twist.
Yeah.
We were thinking, when you assume Miami, you think Cuban, but Dominican. Oh, okay.
No, girl, I am Dominican for sure.
Nice.
It's funny because people are always like, oh, well, you don't look Dominican because I'm not as dark.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I explain it is my mom is very fair skinned and my dad is tan, but my grandparents from my dad's side are from Lebanon. So my dad's tan is not the same. It's not like the typical Dominican tan.
Okay.
So I get really tan if I'm out on the beach a lot, but I'm not the quote-unquote typical Dominican tan.
Right. So you must have family up here in New York City in the Heights. You got family up here?
I do. Like extended cousins that I haven't seen in a minute.
What?
Oh, come up and visit, girl.
Yeah.
I know.
Justine used to live like near the Heights.
Yep.
Yeah. Holla. All right. So one thing we want to dive into. So you used to be a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, allegedly, apparently, right?
I was. Yes.
Yeah, and you were named. We read Rookie of the Year. You were co-captain of the team. So, like, I can imagine that, I can only imagine, because I know nothing about cheerleading, that trying out for the Dolphins must have had some similar elements to, like, The Bachelor, and that you're competing against all these beautiful women, lots of personalities. Like, what was that audition process like? And, like, was it as grueling as one can expect?
Yes and no, right? So with the Dolphins, I feel like maybe my rookie year was really difficult just because you don't know what to expect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for me, I picked up on the routines really well, and then I automatically became one of like the favorites for rookies. Because as a rookie coming in, if you're picking up your routines, you're staying under the radar, right? But if you're like struggling with a lot of stuff, that's when you're catching people's attention, and you're just like, you gotta. Because we go through this period of like training camp. So when the football players are going through training camp, you're going through training camp, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make it out on the field.
Okay, so it's like a long audition process. Mm-hmm.
But the difference with like The Bachelor and the Dolphins is that, well, I would say that being on the Dolphins helped me be around women a lot and different types of personalities. Mm-hmm. So you learn to work as a team versus just like picking at each other left and right. Or having all this animosity, or who gets what. You kind of learn the politics of how things are. But I did that from I think 2006, 2007 season through 2010, 2011 season.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
yeah.
long time.
That's a good chunk of time.
That was it.
Wow, okay.
But I guess maybe that's why I just became very overly protective over the girls in the house when the whole Krystal thing came. Like when she came around to do that, just because I'm so used to being parts of teams and everybody just kind of helping each other out and girls having each other's backs, and then that one girl who doesn't, you kind of call her out.
Right. So yeah, that makes sense. I think being in the Bachelor house, I mean, most women haven't lived in a house with 30 other women unless you were like in a sorority or something like that. So having been with the Dolphins, I'm sure you definitely came in with some tools to be able to deal with that. So talk to us about, like, what was your relationship to the Bachelor franchise beforehand? Like, had you watched the show at all before?
Oh, girl, I made the mistake of just going in there completely just like, oh, this is where I'm gonna find love, and watch a few episodes here and there, and I was, now I'm still trying to kind of understand how it all is, but people really watch this stuff from this first season, and they kind of know the way things work, right? Like the way you're casted, or how group dates are, or the series of events, like typically the 2-on-1. Like I was completely clueless about this like 2-on-1 date. Like I never really knew that it's usually two people who are feuding.
Oh my gosh.
Like I was just like, whatever. I feel like had I watched the show or done my homework a little bit more, I probably would have been a little bit more chill, right? But for me, I felt like, what if I watch the show and it just gives me more anxiety?
Okay.
So I didn't want to freak myself out either.
Yeah. So you're saying that you didn't want to do the research ahead of time, and then kind of taint your mindset.
Right. Just, I can be a very anxious person. And so how the whole, I had watched, so I have one best friend who's like a big Bachelor fan, right? And so throughout the years, like, okay, I watched one episode here, one episode there, but never watch an entire season. And so the one, my sister and her friends and a few friends around me were like, you gotta sign up for this show. It all happened at the same time where everybody was like, you need to sign up for this. And I was like, you know what? Let's just try it and see. And so one of my girlfriends was getting into becoming a videographer. She's like, I'll help you with it. And we took an afternoon after work, and my girlfriends and I just ended up drinking 7 bottles of wine and talking shit to a camera. And it ended up being a blast.
Nice.
Fast forward to I sent it. I was pretty creative with the way that I sent it, because I was like, okay, well, if thousands of people are sending applications, like, how am I supposed to stand out? So I sent it in a box full of rose petals with ring pops, and the USB was in a ring box. I went all out.
Wow. Okay. That's
that next season rolls around, right? And 8 months later, I get a phone call. The audition process is really long. You get casted, you go to one casting call, and then they want pictures, and then you make it to the first round. So it's very lengthy, and with a lot of time in between. And they ended up liking me, and I was like, what are the chances of this actually happening? So I decided to do it. It's very, for me, it's just all these, this could be my shot of meeting my person.
Yeah. So you went in there with a pure heart, truly looking for love. Nice. You didn't even watch the show. You just went all in, ready to find your man. Yeah,
because I kind of live in, I've been through a series of relationships where I think that even though they didn't work out, and I might have been heartbroken, or they, all these crazy stories that come with it, I've learned a lot from them. And I've been alone for a really long time now. And that alone time has allowed me to learn a lot about myself and the things that I really want. But a part of, and kind of become a realist at the same time, right? Where you're just a lot more forgiving, you expect less. But at the same time, I still kind of dream of this kind of fairy tale story where, you could meet someone in such a special way in this random world. I always really grew up, I feel like I don't end up with a guy that just lives in Miami.
Okay. So you're trying to branch out a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I knew that I didn't end up with someone that from my hood, So I just, and I'm not on dating apps, and I'm not on all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's try The Bachelor, and then here it was.
Right.
Then I got Arie.
And then you got Arie. Sorry, girl. So what's dating like in Miami? What was going on in your dating life before you decided to apply?
It's non-existent.
Dang.
It's so crazy because people really think that and what happens now, if they see you with one person, they automatically think that you're dating or whatever. That's never really the case. What's happened to me is just I've become friends with a lot of people, and you kind of even if you're interested, you give it time, and you're like, well, this person's not really for me, because I'm at the point and at the age where you really want to a life partner. And yeah, fucking around here and having fun is great, but I'm not 21 anymore. So I like to take my time to get to know people, to really understand like where I'm at. I don't date a lot. I haven't had a boyfriend in a little over 2 years now. Feels like more. And for me, I kind of had one relationship, and like we broke up, and I would just hang out with all my friends that were like my sister, and she's married, and all her friends are married, or all my friends that just were in relationships. And this all kind of aligned with the time that I was alone and single, and I felt like, well, every time everybody goes out, I'm always like the seventh wheel or something, and I kind of started venturing out and like just going out on my own to places, and I've made tons of friends on my own, and now it's to the point where like my friends will be like, hey, I'm at this party, and I was like, I'm already here. My poor friends. I just really became this extrovert where I'm like, I'm just gonna meet people on my own, and I'm not gonna depend on my friends like calling me up.
Yeah.
Miami's a very party city, and that's not a bad thing because there's always something to do. I mean, but New York is up. Your city never sleeps.
Yeah.
There's always something to do there.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm grateful for it. I love the people here, but have I found my person here? No.
Yeah. I like what you're doing though with the going out, putting yourself out there,
a new life for yourself.
I think that's great because sometimes we depend so much on our friends. And sometimes your friend, like going out with your friends and friends, and sometimes your friends can be your handicap. Like sometimes you need to just go out on your own and start a new circle and build a new network. So that sounds dope what you're doing. I like that.
Yeah. It's good to always kind of venture out.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to find a man, you got to keep your circle a little bit bigger. Need more options.
Okay, so I don't know if this happens to you, but like automatically people think that you're out alone and they think that that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, just be by yourself, right?
No, or like that you're trying to find a man.
Or trying to find
What if I just want a minute to chill,
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's true, because girls don't really go out by themselves all that much.
I see it in New York sometimes. The other day I saw a girl at Chipotle reading a book by herself at a 4-seat table. I was like, wow, girl, you living the life. You took yourself on a date to Chipotle. It's fantastic. Oh, man. So swinging back over to the show, when you got casted, were you at all afraid of being tokenized because you're Latina?
No.
Okay.
I love that I'm different.
Oh, okay.
Like I walked into the house and, Becca Martinez is...
She
comes from Mexican background. Yeah, she has Mexican background, if I'm not mistaken. But I love the fact that I was the one that spoke Spanish and that I came from Miami and that I look different and I sound different because my accent is, I can't really tell, but you can tell that I'm a Miami girl.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely tell.
I really liked it. Did I think that it helped, that it was something that Arie was going to be into? Once I was around him a little bit, I was like, this guy wouldn't know what to do with my ass. Like, I'm kind of fiery, and like for the longest time, I had this one. It's really funny because I had this one. It was like 10 years ago. I dated this guy, and his mom would call me feisty, and I really hated that word. I was like, why does she always call me feisty? I hate that word. And the word followed me for the longest time. And then now I'm just like, you know what? Okay, I'm feisty. Like, it's who I am. And I kind of see a lot of, like, my best friend, even in the part with Krystal, how I just kind of become super defensive. And, I'm going to stand up for everybody because everybody's feeling this way. And I'm not the only one, She said, don't give her crazy eyes. And I'm like, what are you talking about, crazy eyes? She's like, don't give people crazy eyes. This is what my best friend always tells me. She's like, you need to chill with your crazy eyes. I was like, I don't know what crazy eyes you're talking about. And then I see this whole thing with Krystal, and I was like, oh my God. This is what you mean. And she's like, this is why people call you feisty, and this is why I tell you you have crazy eyes. I was like, got it. But no, I love the fact that I'm different, my followers or the people that supported me throughout that time, like, it feels good to see, like, okay, well, I'm different, and they loved it. But But then there's also some people that have said really mean things that I can't even remember because my memory is horrible. But I remember going in there and I'm like, racist as hell comments, like these people attacking where I was from, or like the way that I talked. And then they got on Instagram and they just end up going back and forth with each other, right?
Right. Being that you're the only one, being the only Latina, did you feel as if that there was any pressure on you to act a certain way or to make sure you represent yourself well, or any of that kind of fear?
I kind of think there's so many times where, like, I think back to the whole scene with Krystal, right? And how, like, feistiness and the whole, like, feisty Latina and that whole kind of thing comes into play. But because I grew up in America, I really never felt like, oh, well, I'm a Latina and we're hot-headed and we're this. Like, all these stereotypes that come with it, I didn't go into it with thinking, like, oh, well, I need to be careful with how I act because I'm representing more than just myself. Like, I kind of represent a little bit of my culture. And maybe those are the only times where now that I look back, I'm like, I should have thought of that. I never thought of that. And I hope that that people aren't pissed off at me because, I acted that way or I said the things that I said. But really, in the end of it, that's how I was feeling. That's what I was going through. That's how I felt, and I just went for it. It's not like I sat there and thought, well, I'm going to bitch this girl out. Like, the girl ended up sitting next to me, and then I was just like, well, let me count the ways. Hello. Like, you're batshit crazy,
Yeah. And like you said earlier, it was really stems from you being on that team of cheerleading more than you being Latina. And bitching her out, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't stem from your heritage.
I've always, like, I have a little sister, right? And her and I never got, like, growing up, we hated each other, right? Like, it was bad. It was bad. Like, our fights were really bad. But no matter what happened, right? If somebody tried her, I was the first one there. Right. Like, you're not gonna touch her. Yeah. And I will come at you with everybody. So, I grew up, it's three of us at home. And we're constantly, fighting with each other, but at the same time defending each other. It's just in my nature. Like, that's my personality, I kind of always feel like what's right is right, and if people are doing the wrong thing, then they need to know.
Right. Yeah, I love to hear you say this and, like, really defend yourself as, like, this is just who I am. Right. This is not a part of some fiery Latina, feisty Latina persona. Like, this is just who I am, like, through and through, regardless of my heritage. Like, I'm just I'd like to defend people that I'm protective over.
So, what is your opinion on why more people of color aren't on the show, and just where are all the Latinas on the show? We had one Latino, one Pablo.
Yeah, but
maybe he ruined it.
To my knowledge, you're one of the few that I can remember Latina contestants on the show. Where are the rest of them? Where's everybody?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think that they watch the show that much. When you really break it down, like, who are the people that watch the show the most? Like, my friends here in Miami have heard of the show, but I have a lot of them who haven't.
Yeah. You haven't heard of it?
Like, where their interest is, and I don't really think that they're just not watching it as much. That's what I think, And really, a lot of me coming onto this show, if you think about it, is because my friends were telling me about it, but I wasn't watching the show a lot. I would watch it here and there on a Monday night if my girlfriends were watching it. But I don't think that it has anything to do with them, like the actually, like, casting. I think it has to do with who's actually signing up.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that. I do think, though, where I'm always I always push back on this. Just he's looking at me because I always push back. Because there's a casting department with a job. Your job is to put together a show that, in my opinion, should look and kind of reflect America, regardless of who the fuck is watching the show. I mean, the majority of people who are watching the show, you're still putting together a cast that would hopefully reflect a more realistic view of dating, which is not just all white women vying for one white man. So if people aren't applying for the show, you go out and find them.
Yeah.
You scout them. You hit up Miami, and you hit up in different areas where, other urban areas maybe where other people of color might be at, and you scout them for the show.
And they scout. I know that they have in the past.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
We did the interview with Diggy, and he told us how DeMario was scouted in Chipotle, and somebody else got found in a mall. So the casting department knows how to do their job if it was within their, priorities to make a more diverse cast.
You're right.
I mean, I'm not defending them. It's not to defend them, but there's so much more that goes into it than just like finding these people. You gotta get. I heard somewhere that it's like 80% of the people that get rejected are because they don't pass their STD.
Yeah, I have heard that too. What? I heard that was one of the biggest ways they reject people.
They could find 20 Latinas, and they'd be like, "Well, we like 4 of them, and out of those 4,
3 got herpes.
one of them has this."
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think about now that you guys brought it to light, I'm like, well, maybe not enough Latinas watch the show, and then that's how I got this far.
I mean, ride that out.
I've heard the process, it goes smooth for a lot of us, but it's not that easy. Like, you're giving up a lot. You gotta get tested. You gotta get cleared through psych.
Wow.
And they want to make sure that you're sane.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, when you first stepped out of the limo and you saw Arie for the first time, were you physically attracted to him?
No.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
That was the quickest. What was your first impression? Like, you first step out and you see this man.
The thing is, this is where I'm at now. I don't lead with physical attraction. I know that it's really important, but most of the time, the people that I really, really, really grow to love and care for are people that I'm in love with them because of their personality and who they are, not with what they look like. Anytime that I lead with the physical, it doesn't always end well. Yeah, if I got a hot guy and he's great too, great, awesome, perfect. But I'm so deep in my feelings that I need to connect with your soul. That's what always reels me in. Yeah, I couldn't see Arie, he was handsome. He looked really good in a suit, and that's it. If I saw him outside of the suit, I was like, where's your son? What's happening? Somebody needs to fix the situation. Right?
Yes.
But when, he was handsome, and I trusted the fact that, if he was a bachelor, he has to be a great catch. I really did like that he was older.
Okay.
I thought that he was good looking, and I'm like, well, let's get to know this guy. And then 3 weeks later, I was like, the fuck is this?
Then it all came to light.
Oh, boy.
So you gave him a chance. I mean, you weren't physically attracted to him, but you gave him a shot. You're more mature, so you're past the, just looking for looks kind of thing. You're trying to find somebody with a good soul. So what was your one-on-one time with Arie that first night? What were you discovering about him?
Our time was very short and sweet. Any time that I spent with Arie was very short and sweet.
Yeah.
Not sweet, just short.
Just short, okay.
The short part. The first night was really nerve-wracking, and I feel like I've spoken about this before, but as women, we can be very intuitive, and sometimes we can learn to listen or shut it out and make up our own things in our head. And I pick up on vibes from guys. I lead with that. So if a guy's feeling me, I know, and I feel more comfortable. I never felt like he was really into me. Nothing of our conversation or him leading the convo or trying to get to know me, he never really took that. He wasn't really engaged. So, and that's not wrong.
But it doesn't make you feel very secure either.
It doesn't. Yeah, and I like guys that lead.
Right.
Yeah, right. And I think I was for the first few times that I spoke to him, I was kind of waiting to see how he would kind of take the conversation or what he was interested in, and it was really hard to do that because you have such a short amount of time together. So I was always really optimistic and just like, well, I just want to talk to this guy to see if I like him, because if I don't like him, I don't want to be here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point of staying here? I remember having this conversation with one of the girls where it's just like, well, you know, like, if he's not really into me, like, I don't care to stay here 6 weeks.
Right.
That's not fair. Like, what if somebody else is really into him, and then that's her shot to actually getting to know him, you know? I never really felt like he was into me. You feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I just always thought, well, it's because I'm so nervous and I'm not getting enough time with him.
Okay.
Well, now looking back at it, I'm like, the dude was never into me.
This was not that into you. Yeah. Right.
If it's not there, it's not there. You can't force things at all.
Which is so interesting on The Bachelor, because I feel like most women force it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of girls who are in the house who are similarly just not really feeling it, or if they really listen to their intuition, they would realize he's not that into me, or I'm not that into him, but they kind of stick it out because they want to, you know, force it to work. But sometimes that's just the reality.
Dude, I'm too old for that. I was like, I was like, this guy is definitely not feeling me.
Yeah.
And I said it. I mean, there was a point where I was just like, if he doesn't come try to talk to me, like, I kind of don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the whole, like, cabana setup, I'm like, he said he was going to come and find me. Here's his chance. He can come and find me. And if he doesn't, then I'm out this bitch. Bye.
Peace out, guys.
You know, I often think, would my experience have been any different if it was another guy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
If it was Peter, who was supposed to be the Bachelor, I think that's who all you women were cast for, were for Peter, then I think the whole lineup, the whole shakeup would have been totally different.
Yeah.
I think any of the girls of color would have way more of a chance with Peter.
Definitely Lauren G.
Lauren B's whack ass probably wouldn't have made that far because she can't have a conversation, and Arie likes that shit. So I think it would have been totally different if The Bachelor was different. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard Peter talk a few times, like on podcasts and things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know his story until like after, you know, like after he came back, because I knew that he was on Rachel's season. I knew that he was the runner-up, and then that was it, and that he was hot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to look at his Instagram. I didn't want to go around like snooping and figuring his stuff out, because I knew that would just make me nervous. But I also really think that had Peter been the Bachelor, I don't know if I would have made it that far either.
Why do you say that?
I don't know the guy. I mean, he's really freaking hot, but I probably would have shut down knowing that he was so hot.
Bibiana! You think you would have self-sabotaged?
I would have self-sabotaged myself.
Oh,
I wouldn't be able to handle. But it's weird because, like, there's other people. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't. He was supposed to be on Winter Games, and he didn't do Winter Games.
Right.
I was actually really curious to see, like, who or what he looked like, who he was in real person, how he was. Because how you see people in that kind of environment with your homies hanging out or whatever, that's when you start picking up, okay, I can really mess with this dude or not.
Right.
But he's too hot, man. Sometimes some guys are too hot, and it throws me off, and I'm like, I don't know.
I hear you. I definitely hear you on that. Because that,
You know,
I think more women would have been in their head. I think it would have been a more competitive catty
it would have been
season.
insane.
You girls would have been ripping each other's heads off.
Yeah.
There would have been way more tears. But I do think, I think the profile of woman that Peter, I don't know Peter from Tom, Dick, or Harry's. This is all my made-up assessment. I would think that someone like you who has a strong personality, who stands up for themselves, I think Peter, with his relationship with Rachel, who's similar, was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Is very outspoken, stands up for herself. I think
definitive in what she wants.
Right.
Also.
I feel like you would have had for sure a shot, but then you might have sabotaged yourself because you would have been too nervous. So
it would all really come down to like us meeting and me filling him out and seeing how he. I really do think that all of us would have, had he been our Bachelor. This is the thing with Arie, right? So I said this before, where I thought it would play to our advantage that he was so disconnected from the franchise for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would be just as nervous as we were.
Mm-hmm.
But in turn, I feel that it made it more difficult for him. Had it been somebody from Rachel's season, it would have been in that light. They would have already known what filming was like. They would have just like came straight from filming straight to the other, and already been really comfortable with the producers, like known how the flow of things is. It's really uncomfortable and nerve-wracking. So I'm not saying that this person would have been like wouldn't have been nervous, but this guy probably would have been a little bit more and used to that, so it would have been easier for him to kind of like lead conversations or whatever. You know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to like, when you meet that person, do you feel it or do you not? And it's not an easy environment to get to know someone.
And then if the guy on top of that is super nervous or not really seasoned around the cameras, you guys probably feed off of that energy too. And so everybody's just nervous and a wreck.
I would do good with a guy who's like not from the Midwest.
I love the build up to that. Someone
I was like thinking about what in my head. I'm like, how do I? What kind of guy? I'm just a lot to handle.
Yeah, I would say that you are a lot to handle for a guy
from the Midwest
who lives in the same town as his parents. Yeah. I would not say you're a lot to handle for an average guy, especially like guys that we meet in New York. Please.
Yeah.
That's all we are, is aggressive. So like they're used to that sort of thing. But
yeah,
like I would give you more credit than saying that you're hard to handle.
Right.
And I'm not. The thing is that like people automatically, because of my feistiness like on the show and how whatever, like they probably think that I'm like this firecracker all the time, or that this is how I am in a relationship. But I'm actually pretty freaking chill. Like you know, I'm thinking about the last guy that I kind of had a thing with. I basically told him, hey, if you're not into this, like, let me know. And if you want to be, doing your own thing, whatever, that's cool. Just let me know. I don't want to walk into a bar and catch you on a date.
Ooh.
Like, that's just not my style. But if you're telling me this is what you're up to, then whatever. It's all good. It's all Gucci. We're straight. I'm that kind of person where it's just like, if you kind of have an open line of communication constantly, and honesty and communicating and being just trusting is our foundation, then there's nothing really I can get at you, because I've always known.
Right.
My whole thing comes more like, I kind of become a little bit bitchy when a guy just thinks that he can have his cake and eat it too, and kind of lie to me and think that he's going to be sneaky and not honest. Like, that's why I'm just like, no, Bobby. This is not the bitch that you fuck with. Like more like, no.
Yeah.
But I've been alone for such a long time that I've taken time to really think, like, what are the things that I never want to feel again in a relationship.
Yeah, right.
And so the moment that I feel like something's coming at me that just doesn't feel right, then I don't entertain it, and I move forward. And I grow from it and I learn from it, but I don't try to I don't like feeling anxious. I don't like feeling like I can't trust someone.
So I feel like The Bachelor was gonna be a tough road for you then.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some girls come in, they're armed, they're, I guess, I don't know, maybe they watch more of the show, so they kind of really know how it works. They maybe aren't as nervous. I feel like you had some nerves maybe going into the show. And in a show like this, where like you can't trust jack shit that comes out this dude's mouth because he's dating 25 other girls, it's like, were you like in your head a lot?
No, actually, I think that if this is the way that you're gonna meet your guy, what better way? He's gonna be exhausted of talking to 25 other women. He's gonna want to be with one female, and that's it. I'm not saying that I can't be jealous, right? Because I think that everybody can be. But I'm much more understanding than I ever was before. Like, I'm not going to meet a guy and expect him to not be talking to other girls at all. Like, people always are talking to other people. I'm not that person to expect that I'm going to meet somebody and him not be talking to, like, 5 other chicks. It happens, except here you're seeing it and it's right in front of your face. Now it's just like, okay, well, I'm in a show where everybody's dating and I'm in the same house. This is great.
It's like full transparency.
It's full transparency. I love relationships that are like that.
No one wants to think about your guy dating somebody else,
but then you can start dating somebody else too.
That's the thing. Like, technically, we're all single, so everyone could do whatever. You don't want to think about it, but it's better to have full transparency than, as you said, he hits you up on Monday and then he hits you up on Wednesday, and then you're just piecing the dots together in your head, thinking of all the girls in between.
On the weekend when you're alone.
Right.
And I'm saying that's for everyone. It's really taken me a long time now to be realistic about where the dating scene now. You know, I felt like you were with one person and that was it and that's it. That's not how you meet people nowadays.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially without apps.
Right.
You're gonna meet I've never been on any app, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with being on one. I might eventually join one because obviously shit's not going right for me.
I just got on Bumble last night, so I hear you.
But you know, you're going through and you're entertaining conversations with more than one person. You know,
and someone is doing that to you. You're one of their options as well. So, dating.
I know.
It's terrible.
So when you were in the house and Krystal interrupted you when she already had a rose, right? We're just breaking down the fight for people who may not remember. You straight up told her exactly where to go, exactly what seat to take, and where to go sit down, right? We're wondering, why don't more girls do that when women like Krystal are blatantly attacking their chance at this guy?
Like, you told her straight up, no, you were meeting with Arie and you said, come back. She came to interrupt you and you said, no, come back. And I don't understand, why don't more girls make their claim on their time when they're on the show with the guy? Like, why are they always like, okay, and then they walk away and let the girl take over?
Maybe we're not seeing it. Everybody gets interrupted.
Right.
Everybody. So.
But it doesn't seem like everybody says, no, come back.
Right.
It always seems like the girl gets up.
A lot of content to fill in. I mean, you're filming 24/7. There's a camera on everybody 24/7. You're taking 24 hours, like, so much content, and you're cramming it into 2 hours, right? So if it's not relative to my story, where they don't really care to show it because something else is more important that's happening that day that they need to show. Not going to show everybody getting interrupted, or maybe somebody saying, like, can you give me 5 more minutes? You're not going to see that all the time. But me telling Krystal, you need to, like, come back, because she came up to me and she's like, do you mind? I'm like, yeah, I do mind.
Yes, I do.
Talked to this dude all week. Yeah, I do. That they showed, because then she went and tried to sit next to me, and then I told her off. But had I not told her off, maybe they wouldn't have shown that.
Right.
That's a good point.
You get me? It was relative to my story and what I was struggling through within that week.
Yeah. Like, you, to my knowledge, are one of the first girls that I've seen that flat out said to her, no, come back. It always just appears like the girl's like, okay, and like gets up and like lets the other girl take the time. So for us, that was so rare to see, and I wish they showed that more. If it does happen, I don't know. But it seemed like it was also part of your character development.
My whole thing with Krystal was that she tried to come and sit next to me. I was like, wow.
Bitch, you crazy?
I'm like, this bitch is tripping. I'm like, what are you drinking? Because I need that.
You're really on something right now.
Yeah, and the thing with Krystal, it wasn't anything personal. Like, I hadn't spent a lot of time with Krystal at all. My whole thing was just like, bitch, you don't know me. How are you gonna come and, like, let me check up on you? And that's where I was just like, no.
Right. She chose the wrong one.
Yeah.
Because everybody was pissed at her at that moment.
So when you did, like, storm off after that whole Krystal mic drop moment, who did you go talk to about it? Did you go talk to the producers about it and have, like, behind the scenes moment?
No, at that point it was just like, I went in for an interview because I was heated.
Oh.
Damn, so they pull you right into the room for a confessional?
It's important for people to see what you actually feel, right? So if I would have not had done that interview right away, and I had to think of it like 3 hours later, you're not going to get me for me at that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
You know, so it's almost better because
they get your, like, raw emotions.
Yeah, it's like you're like, you know what you're feeling.
So I'm very intrigued by, I asked this to everyone we've interviewed, the relationship between you guys and the producers, because we know that they're in the house with you. They're like your friends. You guys hang out with them all the time, sometimes more with the producers than with Arie himself. So what is that relationship like? Do you actually trust these producers because they're your friends, but at the same time they're making a show? So it's like anything that you say to them in confidence could end up, on the show or end up somewhere. So what was your relationship like with them and your feelings about like your trust with the producers?
I to this day have a really good relationship with all of them. I adore them. I think going into this, one thing that always resonated with me is like, who you are, you will be. Right? So I don't feel like I have any hard feelings, like everything that but I also was there a very short time.
Right.
And had I been there longer, I don't know would I be more worried about what I would look like? Throughout my entire time there, I was never worried about what are people going to think about this.
One thing, though, that irked the shit out of me watching the show, I don't know who to blame, the producers, the casting, the editing, whatever. Anytime you came on screen, they had this generic-ass Latin drums backing track, like, I don't know where they found this random music. Did you notice that when you watched the show?
I did. I actually thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious the first time, and then afterwards I was like, why is she the only one with this like music. Ethnic music? Yeah. What?
You want to know what I said? I'm like, yes, please, tell them that I'm different. Tell them that I'm a Latina, because if people watching the show, they wouldn't know where I was from. Okay, now you know that I'm a Latina. Like, I love where I'm from, and anything that's going to just emphasize that, by all means, bring it on. Like, I don't want to ever change that or feel like I know that some people were pretty bothered about it, but that didn't bother me. It wasn't anything that I was sensitive to or took to heart. I thought it was hilarious, and I'm like, well, here's Bibiana, where I'm from now. I'm a Latina.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, if you're not bothered by it, I mean, more power to you. It stirs me.
Yeah, me too. It goes back to what I said, where it's such a sensitive time now that anything can be taken out of context and taken personally. But I don't think that that's what people intended to be all the time, And so I could definitely say, like, I'm offended that they pulled this card on me, and they, like, every time I come on, it's Latin music, or I can just be really proud of where I'm from, and I'm like, please, by all means, can you put some reggaeton on?
Right, bring the reggaeton. Bring some actual something Dominican, not this random ass Latin generic drums. That I would have appreciated, maybe.
Well, another incident that really, really bothered us, and this particularly really bothered me because I am obsessed with Glow, the Glorious Ladies of Wrestling. And so it really ruined the day for me when this crusty, racist, old white lady came up to you and said, what kind of name is that? Did your mom know how to spell when she named you that?
Let me tell you something. Satan was trying me that day.
Oh my God!
Satan was riding your back, girl.
It really was. It really bothered us.
Goodness. So I was already pretty emotional that day. She came at me. She was in character. At that point, she was like really full on in character, and I think that she just got a little carried away. And I see this is where I'm just like, I'm crazy as shit because I would have done this. But she attacks me, then she drops the mom thing. And I'm like, this bitch wants to die.
She about to die.
She was about to spit in her face.
Ooh, shit.
It was built up. You know how when you almost feel like you're so angry that it feels like you're going to throw up and your mouth just kind of like salivates? I had a full-on hawker ready to go. I'm not even kidding.
Yo, I would die to see that. Not even like a punch, just a spit in her face.
I had a full-on mocker, like, ready to go.
Yikes.
I was so zoned in, like, looking at her, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking spit in your face right now. And I glanced, and Arie was looking straight at me.
And you swallowed the spit.
And I was like, not today, baby. Not today.
Oh my god, what a metaphor.
Had he not been looking at me, that I would have gone straight into her face.
Ooh, God.
Oh my god.
I was so angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it's just like, you don't know my mom, you don't know where I come from.
Period.
Like,
mm-hmm.
And then it's funny, like that day I realized, this lady attacked me and Arie did nothing.
Because that was our next question.
Yeah.
Because
Arie did nothing to try to console me after that or see how I was doing. But Tia had a hard time and he was like all over Tia.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So right then and there I was like, dude's not into me.
Yeah.
Any man would have just, like, this is where I get a little frustrated with him because it's just like, nobody forced you to be the bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You signed up to have 20-something girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have 20-something girlfriends, then you need to pay attention to each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your part as the bachelor and pay attention.
Damn. It's true, though, because you all give up your lives to be there. Mm-hmm. Sure, he's going to feel immediate connections with a select few, but you can't just ignore all the rest of them. You still have to put in the time to kind of show them a little attention and at least be cordial. At least when somebody blatantly racially attacks one, you come and say, girl, you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Arie was just not that type. Like, I went back and I saw a few old episodes from Ben's season.
mm-hmm.
And you could tell he would try to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And not just, like, short and sweet. He would ask questions. He would engage. He would, I almost make you feel like, let me learn about you.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Arie, I just kind of sat there and was like, well, if I'm not asking the question, then what are you doing?
Damn, really? So he's not even trying to talk, have any conversation, get to know you guys?
But he just wasn't into me.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't into you, he wasn't into you, and that was it, goodbye. Like,
yeah, he could even pretend.
Wow, right.
Wow.
I was really frustrated because, like, I like feeling like my man wants me. I like feeling like a man can take control. As much as people may think that I know that I can come off as the girl that takes charge. I don't want to take charge in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I like a man that can lead. Like, I love that.
I was gonna say, it's interesting what you said about him. You're looking for someone who's like, almost like your ride or die, like a partnership. I don't know if Arie went in with that same mindset, just because by the look of who he chose at the end. Mm-hmm. Someone who was like so soft-spoken, kind of, in my opinion, manipulated by the end.
Yeah,
it's like he's looking for like a little trophy, plaything. I don't know. I don't think he really was looking for his equal match.
Well, this is the thing. Everybody is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I need may not isn't going to be what somebody else
he needs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, true that.
And so there's so many relationships that are so weird to me, but they work because they're exactly what they each need.
Mm-hmm.
And they're compatible. And as much as people want to say opposites attract, it doesn't really work in a relationship. Opposites are not great in relationships. You need people that are very like-minded to make it in the long run.
Yeah.
Like, you might have certain things where you can complement each other here and there, but if you're not thinking on the same way, and you don't like initially the same things, like, you're going to struggle in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Lauren and him had a lot in common, and obviously their personalities really match, and that's what makes them work. In the end, look how happy he is with Lauren. They're going everywhere together, and they're really content, and that's the important part.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I have not been watching a single thing they've been doing.
Either.
But I'm glad to hear that they're doing all right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So moving away from Arie's whack ass, let's talk about the Bachelor Winter Games. Going into the show, did you have any hopes of any guys who would be there? I know you didn't watch the show too much, but did you have any Bachelor crushes that you might have Googled and thought would be there?
The one person that was like, oh, I'm finally going to meet the famous Peter.
Oh, Peter.
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally going to meet the famous Peter.
Okay. So you and Kevin hit it off pretty easily in the beginning, and then Ashley I was always in the corner, in the cut, in her lingerie, obsessing and crying in the corner. When you were with Kevin, were you at all worried about Ashley, or like what was that dynamic? Oh, you said hell to the no. She came in quick. Said no.
Well, people automatically think like you find this one person and that's it. You're supposed to end up with him, and that's that. You're on a dating show. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be confused. You're supposed to like more than one person. You're supposed to kind of figure it out. And if you're lucky to find that one person from the beginning, great. But those chances are very slim. Mm. And there's all this pressure there was pressure put on Kevin and I because he was paying attention to me a lot that day during the first competition, the first event that we did. And so when he won the date card, he had already been talking to me for a bit. So he's like, would you want to go on a date? And I was like, sure. And so he had talked to a few of the other girls, and everybody kind of told him to take me on the date because obviously he had shown a lot of interest in me already. Mm-hmm. And we went on the date, but that was the one night that everybody was bonding at the house.
Okay.
We were pulled away right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So, Ashley still at that point didn't really know Kevin. I didn't know Ashley well at that point either, so I didn't know her interest in him at all. So, moving, I had a good time with him on the date, but I wasn't like all there. I kind of was still thinking about the guys back at the house, like who else can I talk to? Because that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. People get so mad at you because you're not 100% or like because you're going back and forth, but really this is what we're here for. Like this is like what it is. I'm supposed to kind of figure out who I like and see who I want to be with. Mm-hmm. Just because somebody's interested in me doesn't mean that I have to be interested in them. I'm not that thirsty.
Right. And you guys just got there.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Kevin and I kind of like we were there, we were fine, and then Ashley and I, our friendship started going along, and she had expressed to me that she was really interested in him, and I was like, girl, why didn't you tell me? Like, this is what we're here for. Please, by all means, go and talk to him.
Okay.
So then what happened? This doesn't really play out, but like I was always really interested in Ben.
Oh. I was thinking, before Jordan came in and you were done with Kevin, who else was there? So Ben, okay.
Right, but the thing is that I always was attracted to Ben, but I never wanted to make a move on Ben.
Okay.
Because I go back to like what you kind of feel where people are at. Like your intuition and like your vibes, you can pick up on people and when they're into you and you're not. And like I in my head already knew, okay, Ben is emotionally not there. He's not ready.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this guy would even like me, right?
Yeah.
So I would rather like create a friendship with this guy than try to come at him hard with like, hey, I like you. I've known you for a few days. It's not that serious. Right. So then Jordan came in.
And Jordan, he comes into the house with a bad rap. He's the dude who flipped the coin.
I wasn't there for any of that.
You what?
I wasn't there for any of that.
So when they revealed his whole coin flip thing, you weren't there?
I heard it about it from him. He had a really bad experience as a bachelor, and I could not imagine something like that happen. But him and I just took to talking like the whole day, and it was great. And then we went from like 0 to 100, and I was always really honest with him. I'm like, I went on this date with Kevin. I was kind of into that, I was still kind of trying to figure it out. Jordan and I really clicked. Like our personalities really clicked. Like we really vibed together. But it wasn't as if I wasn't being honest with him about where my feelings were at all the time. Okay. A lot of this stuff happened off camera, so he knew where I was at. So when he came up to me to put up, asking me all these questions about, where do you see this going? I'm like, what do you mean? We've been having this conversation.
Oh.
Okay.
So was it that on... He was kind of initiating this, let's have this conversation about the future on camera, and is that kind of what freaked you out a little bit?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. I really wanted to take it easy, and kind of figure out where my feelings were at. And it was just like little things here and there where I realized like this guy's really into me. He's really, really, really ahead of the game, like really far advanced, like really ahead.
Wow.
And I really broke down because I just felt bad. But I feel that a lot of the pressure that Jordan was kind of putting on me had to do with his own experience.
Mm-hmm. As the Bachelor?
And his own past relationships.
Okay.
Because he had recently told me that he had a girlfriend in the States that I guess they were trying to figure out what they were going to do, and then she ended up breaking up with him or something. I don't take everything word for word, but it was kind of the same thing where like I was in the States, but I was kind of just like, let's take it easy. So I think when you are experiencing something that's kind of resonating with you a little bit, you tend to force a lot more pressure on it.
Yeah.
So I freaked out.
So it sounds like he wanted clarity ASAP because he
Yeah.
just recently had an American girlfriend and was like,
I can't do this
I
again.
can't do this shit again, so bitch, what we doing? Like,
And a lot of what I live in my life, I force myself because it's not easy to do this all the time. It's just like to really live in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So much of my life, I like would think ahead or like, why aren't we here? Or why am I not here?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I need to do this. And thinking that way stole so much of what I should have been feeling and doing in that moment, in that time. I worked really hard to kind of teach myself to just like, where are you right now? Take a moment, take yourself out of this scenario. Like, you're never going to live this moment again. Don't put pressure on on yourself or on the people around you because you're trying to get somewhere that you're not. And relationships, a lot of it is like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's continuously just enjoying the stages of a relationship. I can't be in a relationship where, we're not on the same page. And Jordan and I were not on the same page, and it broke my heart that I felt the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I can't lead this guy on, or I can't just ride the wave with this guy because he's not there, and I would be a bitch if I did.
I was gonna say, was it something about Jordan that you just weren't that into, or was it the distance that was freaking you out?
No, I think initially it was just I wasn't that into him. When you look back, like it may not have happened in that moment because I was having such a good time with him.
Right.
And I think that maybe, let's say, like he would have, if he lived in the States and things wouldn't have happened the way they had, and time has gone by, and maybe things would have been different. But initially, if I'm not thinking about him now, then he just wasn't for me.
Right.
It's nothing that's wrong. It's something that I did wrong. In that moment, I was really into him, but we were faced with a lot of real topics fairly quickly, and that wasn't. I had known him for 5 days.
Literally, yeah.
So I almost felt like you should know better. You should know that this like, you shouldn't put this pressure on me. You should just let us enjoy where we're at. Like, let's just, he wasn't leaving back to his home, like back to New Zealand for like another month. Like, he was staying in the States for a month,
Oh.
Mm.
So I was just like, what's all this where's all of this?
What?
And as soon as the pressure was placed on me, I was like, this isn't fair to him for me to just be in this relationship just because I like him.
Yeah. The actuality of a 5-day or however long you guys were there, building out 6 or 7 couples that actually last and work, that's so unrealistic.
That's crazy.
Maybe one good one can come out of that kind of pressure cooker situation, but for 7 relationships to like be successful out of something so rare like that, like meeting someone, falling in love, getting married, all that in 5 days or whatever, which like what you're saying makes me think of like Claire and Benoit, who, I was a huge fan of theirs, rooting for them. I was crying tears like an idiot when they got engaged, But like when you think about it, all of it just is too fast.
Yeah.
It was really fast that they built this relationship. Then get engaged with each other. It's
Well, there's also the distance for them too.
Yeah.
they had distance as well.
You think it's gonna work out, and you go on this because there's that chance. Like, look at Lily and Courtney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, look at Jade and Tanner. Even Taylor and Derek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're still together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, they're solid relationships out of of this, and then it's just providing you new and different ways to meet people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get a relationship out of it, well, you get a lot of solid friendships, you know.
That's true.
And you get a really good experience.
So, Becca as the Bachelorette, right? We have some conflicting feelings about it.
I think that she was meant to be the Bachelorette.
Oh, okay.
I really do trust in like what's for you is for you,
Mm-hmm.
and what people don't like people are seeing everything back to back to back. But Arie broke up with her a long time ago. It seems like very short, but she had enough time to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Would you do Bachelor in Paradise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know they're filming soon. You packing your bags, Bibiana?
You guys ready?
No, girl, I'm too busy working out and trying to figure out why I'm such an emotional roller coaster these days. I would do it. I mean, it's really hard to kind of know who's going into it. And I hear that Paradise is very chill.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally just hanging out the whole time.
Yep.
On top of that, Paradise is, I feel like I'd be in my element because I'm already this natural person that, like, is used to the hot weather
Mm-hmm.
and used to the beach and the humidity. So, like, I've always dreamt about waking up and being on a beach, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which one of you hates loves the cold?
Me.
That's Justine.
Oh, I love it frigid.
I'm a summertime beach baby.
The thing would die in Paradise.
Yeah, no, I'd just
She
be
was
inside
miserable.
fanning myself.
Miserable. Oh my god.
So, word on the street is that both Eric and Diggy have Bibiana crushes. And in our interview with Diggy, we asked him who his Bachelor crush was, and he said Bibiana without even a hesitation.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard Eric.
What?
Did you hear Eric too?
Yeah.
Lauren G in her interview told us that Eric on the low was digging you. So,
In Winter Games?
at Winter Games.
Yeah, I felt that. But he ended up leaving, like, as soon as he told me, left. I didn't vote for Eric. I was like, who voted for Eric? But what I love about Eric is that, you know, like, we've kept in touch, and he's the kind of guy that, like, won't ever make you feel like he's good on vibes. So he, like, knows that I'm probably not there, and, like, he'll just, like, comment and see how I'm doing. You know, like, those are cool people. I like guys that are like that, because then, you know, if something comes out of that, it's much more natural. You know, I really know you for who you are versus someone who's, like, constantly aggressive.
Right.
Diggy, I feel like I heard somewhere that he mentioned something.
Yeah, he without hesitation said Bibiana.
Yeah.
That's really nice and flattering, because I seriously told my friend the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm not the Bachelor guy type.
You a hot commodity out
Yeah,
here.
you definitely are.
You a hot commodity in these streets. So what makes you say that?
Because, like, you know, most of these, like, I don't know if it's like, I feel like maybe my personality is intimidating, but now that I hear that people actually have crushes on me, I'm like, oh, okay, that's really
Blushing a little
because
bit.
they saw, like, this feisty person on camera, and then I almost feel like, and then a super emotional girl with Jordan.
Are you still in communication with Jordan?
No.
Oh no.
I don't like leading people on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? And we kind of saw each other during obviously during the reunion, and at one point he felt that I was being standoffish with him. And just the fact that he felt the need to say that to me, I just kind of felt like his feelings are still somewhere else, you know? So I, I don't reach out or anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Clean break.
Because that's never my intention. You know, sometimes I feel like people just expect so much out of something, and then when it doesn't work out their way, kind of just like, I don't know. I kind of just don't want to hurt people's feelings, and so I try to stay clear from, like, making it seem something that it's not.
So outside of, I mean, I don't know if Eric or Diggy have a shot, but outside of them, do you have any other, like, Bachelor Nation crushes? Any other dudes you had your eye on? Who?
No.
Oh. Nobody?
Nobody. It's funny because I was talking to someone else, like, I guess I gotta do my homework and go back and see, like, franchise I would be interested in.
So
you
good.
guys know me a little bit more now, right? And being that you guys have watched the show.
Who would be pegged
which
for
one?
you?
I would say
Yeah.
definitely Eric, because he's so into exactly what she's saying, into like vibes and feeling people and personalities and this and that and the third, whatever.
Yeah.
He's far away. He's in LA, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Who else? Ooh, you know who also maybe an interesting person would be the wrestler Kenny.
Kenny.
Not Kenny. Oh, Kenny is the daughter though. Like
Kenny.
the daughter in high school.
You know who might work for you? Okay. From Rachel's season, Matt.
Don't remember. who
So
that is.
Matt was like never shown on Rachel's season. Matt was on Bachelor in Paradise,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
had a little thing with Jasmine. Jasmine, who's
Oh
like,
my gosh, remember that?
yes, who I guess she's another quote unquote feisty girl, and he was riding out with Jasmine for a little bit. So he
Alright.
seems like he might have the stamina for someone with a little bit more zhuzh to them. So Matt might be
Okay.
a good look. Alex, he was like the Russian kind of guy. He was so hot.
Yeah, he was hot. He had a great family.
Really good family. He's
Yeah.
really smart. He's like a tech guy, whatever. But then he makes like funny videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a guy with a sense of humor.
Okay.
Because I'm a clown.
Okay. Look up Alex. Instagram
definitely.
Alex.
Yep.
His last name is like something crazy, but Alex from Rachel's season.
Oh, yeah.
He's always posting like funny videos and
And his intro
Why
video
didn't
was like
he
a
do
joke.
Paradise last season?
I don't know.
I don't know if he was a fan favorite
Like, I
necessarily.
feel like, wouldn't he be, if he came from Rachel's season and he's this much of a hot commodity, wouldn't he be on Paradise?
But then you don't know. We don't know what was going on in his life. Maybe he couldn't get off work.
Yeah.
Or we don't know.
Right, or maybe he met someone.
Or maybe he was meeting
Maybe.
someone off camera. But look into him. He's a hottie.
Yeah,
And
he was
definitely
really
sense of
cute.
humor, smart guy. Yeah, a good one, I think.
Good body too.
So we just want to say thank you so much, Bibiana,
Yay.
for coming on the show. It was so awesome chatting with you. We talked a lot about dating and
Yeah.
just the trials and tribulations of being single in Miami and New York, two very metropolitan cities. Very hard to date, apparently. So can you just share with everyone before you go, like, are you up to anything like fun or creative that you want people to like look out for you on social media? What's next for Bibiana?
I'm just living my regular old life in Miami.
Yeah,
That's an exciting place to be.
Right.
Figuring stuff out is an exciting place.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's not a bad spot to be.
I'm extremely grateful. I love my city so, so much. Because anytime that I'm like feeling a little blah, I can just go out into the ocean.
Nice.
It's great.
Oh, damn, I wish I was in Miami right now. So jealous. Well, that's awesome. We will definitely be continuing to watch out your life, your Miami life. Everyone can find you on social media, which we'll tag in our description. And we just want to remind everyone to please rate, review, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yay.
And also, if you want to email us, we can just email us at the email address 2 blackgirls1rose@gmail.com.
And our Twitter handle is 2 BLK Girls 1 Rose.
Yay, we're back.
We're back, guys. So we will, I guess, we don't know what we're doing next. We'll chat to everybody.
Yeah, we'll let you know later.
All right, bye.